Rages over whether to extend the Bush tax cuts. Those making more than $250,000 are in the crosshairs, and now a new debate is forming. Should there be a tax bracket for the super rich? It doesn't seem fair that those making $40 million a year should be paying the same as those making $400,000. Time to let out the Willis watchdogs. Jeff Havens is a comedian in Jefferson City, Missouri. Yu-Dee Chang is the sole principal of Ace Investments in Washington. And Jack Howe is the columnist with smartmoney.com. Yu-Dee, I want to start with you. Do we need an Oprah bracket?
I think they're focusing on the wrong thing, Jerry. I think our problem is with spending. It's not necessarily with tax revenue. So you're not going to give a drug patient a pot of marijuana. You have to send them to the institutions. So we have to fix our problem by exercising physical constraint. That's what we have to do, not a new tax bracket.
Okay, pot and everything. Jack, what do you say?
The rate doesn't matter as much as the deductions you allow, because by the time the rich get done pretending to be blind Eskimos solar panel installers on their tax returns, they do not pay that much.
Okay. Jeff, what do you say?
Well, I tell you what, I know I'm supposed to be funny here, but I'm going to try to be funny a little bit later. I want to do a little bit of history. This country had a top tax bracket of 50% or higher for every year from 1932 to 1986. In 1936, 4 years into the Great Depression, our top tax bracket was 79%.
Ouch.
And before anybody starts shouting about socialism, under Eisenhower, the top tax bracket was 92%. In 1954, we had 24 separate tax brackets, and now we have 6. The last 25 years have been the kindest to the super rich since the 1920s. So the short answer is yes, we need more tax brackets for the super rich, and I promise if I'm ever one of these people, I will still think so.
And you won't be a blind Eskimo installing solar panels.
I will get solar panels.
Let's
I definitely will get solar
story.
panels.
2 men have been arrested in Oregon for shoplifting during a Shop with a Cop event for school children. There were more than 60 uniformed officers in the store. Jack, what do you say about that?
I'm going to say it's a good thing the children were there. Something tells me this guy would have gotten a 60 baton salute. Not smart.
Not smart. Yeah, they're smarter people. Jeff, what do you say?
I don't know about you, but I don't speed up when I see a police car on the side of the highway. And I don't think the police station is the first building I'm going to practice my graffiti on, because that's where the cops are. These guys are idiots. You know where they should have gone if they wanted to steal stuff is any other store in Portland, because apparently all of the cops were in the same building. They made the right choice. Prison is where they belong. They do not have the time for stable employment.
Yu-Dee.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think one cop directing traffic in your city is confusing enough not to say 60 cops directing 160 kids. They were just at the wrong event, Jerry. It was shop with a cop. They thought it was shoplift with a cop.
Why do these people do these things? All right, here's an important story. A pair of dueling horses left an announcer at a New Jersey racetrack, well, sounding like a confused husband, as it came down to, my wife knows everything and my wife doesn't know. Listen to this.
My wife knows everything in front. To the outside, the wife doesn't know. My wife knows everything. The wife doesn't know. My wife knows everything. More than the wife doesn't know.
Jeff, are you as confused as I am?
I have never heard a man summarize marriage more eloquently than that guy did just right there. I have to say, I totally understand why a guy whose horse is named My Wife Knows Everything would seek solace in the world of professional horse racing, because if his wife really believes that she knows everything, then he's just tired of nagging, and he wanted to go after nags that couldn't speak.
A woman owned that horse. Did you know that, Jeff?
A woman trained that horse. I thought that a man owned it, but I might have been mistaken.
Well, you could be right about that. All right, Yu-Dee, what do you say?
You know what? I don't know what's the big fuss about this story. I think to a man, this is a horse race that goes on in our heads on a daily basis. Should my wife know? Shouldn't my wife know? You know, I personally have the same race, but with different horses' names. My wife should know about this, or otherwise I'm in trouble. Or my wife should know about this, otherwise I'll be in trouble. Not a big deal.
I like the end result is the same, yeah.
All right, well, we have to explain this all to Jack because I don't think he's married. So can you get your arms around this and get your brain wrapped around this story?
I am married, actually.
Oh, good.
And we have a new baby in the house, and I can tell you that I had all my money bet on my wife doesn't care, go fix dinner yourself. it's been a pretty good bet lately.
All right, Jack, I can see that. You look like a new dad. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. All right. Jeff, Jack, Yu-Dee, thanks so much for helping us out. Great job. Coming up, some of our neighbors to the north are betting against the U.S. economy. So should we blame Canada if things go from bad to worse? I'll give you my 2 cents next.
Kids are getting worse. They won't obey the